Alright everybody, it's been a while since I've made a video, but I've been getting rid of a lot of blackberry plants, either giving them away or selling them. And a lot of you have kind of asked, well, what do we do? You know, how do we prune them? How do we care for them? So I just figured it'd be easier to make a video, and so you can actually see what I do. So let's see, let's go over here to one of my plants and see if it gives us a good view. Okay, here we go. All right, so as you can tell, we've got this woody plant here. So I've got all these really woody plants that don't have anything on them, and then right next to it, look, I've got all this green growth, all that green growth. So these, the woody part that you see now, and it's like July 1st or July 2nd, so we've already harvested our berries. So what happens is the green and the brown grow together, but this right here was what had the berries this year. So I picked all the berries off of them. In fact, you can kind of see where the little blossom ends are. That's where the berries were, and I picked all those. And as soon as I picked those, it starts turning brown, like dark. Some of them are even brown as I'm picking, but it starts dying off almost immediately. While these are growing, while the bearing canes are growing, these green canes are growing right alongside them. As soon as you can, I like to do mine right after harvest, or you can wait right up until like fall or winter, and then you just cut all this brown stuff off. I'm not gonna go through the whole process, but you get the idea. Cut it all the way down to the ground, all the brown stuff, so that all you have left is the green. All right, then when I do, see how this is you can kind of see the growth habit. It kind of wants to go like out like this, and you can see that I had the other ones trained to go up. So once all this brown stuff is removed, you can take this and put it up. All right, and the way that this particular plant is done, see, I have the stainless wire, and I kind of have it strung in between two T-posts. And this isn't really tight. The only reason this is tight is because you got the weight of the vine on it, and it's about 20 or 30 foot long. So it's pretty tight just because of the mass of the plants and the length of the wire. So what I do is I take all that, and then I put it in between the wire, and you can kind of see how the canes will go in between the wires, and the wires will support. Same thing goes next year. These will grow berries. While these are growing berries, there will be another plant that comes up. After you pick berries, you'll cut these back, and then you'll put the ones that grew up next to them in the wire. All right, so it seems like it's a lot now, but it's really not. You just kind of have to understand it just rotates. So the plant that grows berries this year will die, and then another plant will grow right next to it. It's the same plant, but for lack of a better word, I know they have like primocane and floricane and all the different type of canes that grow. I lost track of that a long time ago. I just know that one of them grows berries this year, one of them will grow berries next year, and then the one that grows berries next year, you'll prune those back all the way off once they grow berries. You know, cycle goes on. It's an endless cycle, right? And what I like to do is, while these are growing, you can kind of see, I don't know if it won't focus, but there's these growth tips. You can see all that plant is putting its energy into this tip right here. So this wants to keep growing out. I'll cut that off. See, here's another one. You can see that brand new leaf right there. I just cut it off. What that does is that sends the energy back into the plant so it grows out. So you have the primary cane, and then it grows like the lateral canes off the side, and that's what's gonna grow your berries. So I just go through and I cut all the little growth tips off. And anytime I come out here and I see the growth tips, I cut them off. What that does is that keeps the plant compact, keeps it from getting real leggy. It'll grow. Them things will grow 10, 15, I imagine longer down here, because we have an extra couple months of growing on you. Let me show you one of my plants. This is kind of what I do, what I've gone to. I started with that, with the stainless wire and the T-posts. this is what I do now. You can see I have cattle panel. So it's the same deal with just cattle panel. And you don't have to weave it like a, you know, you don't have to kind of weave it in and out every little thing. But just like this one, you can see the plant's kind of almost 2 or 3 foot, well, about 18 inches rather, off to the side. And I've just put it like this. Now what I may do, is I like for this thing to grow at least so that it's past this top bar. So I won't cut that tip off. I'll let that thing grow. In fact, look, I can actually help it out. Is it gonna stay? No, it's not gonna stay. A lot of times the stickers will actually help hold. So I'll just wait. Another couple weeks, that thing will be long enough and I can kind of weave it back through here and let it stick up. And then I'll cut the top of it. And then what that'll do is that'll make things grow off to the side. See, same here. It's not quite, ow. See, it's not quite tall enough. Almost up to the top of that, but it's not. So I'm not gonna worry about that. But you can see over here, this one fell down. So you can see all that, that's, I don't even know if that's new or old growth. I think it's new growth and it's just kind of laid down. So I've got to pick that up and find a way to tie it off. Now stainless is the best. You can go find a source of stainless wire, tie those things up temporarily, or a piece of cloth or whatever. Heck, even if you just have like an old clothes hanger that you're not using, you know what I mean, you can tie those things up. I can't think of anything else. That's pretty much what I do. And you can see I've got, now all this, that's not, there's blackberry plants under there, but there's some kind of vine that's grown up that I got to pull off. And I'll probably do that here in a couple months. But I've got a row back here. I've got a row here. And then that right there is one little fence. That's the original. And then on the side, on the other side of the truck, that was the place where we were just a while ago. So I've got 4 different places that I harvest blackberries from, and I do the same thing every year. Deep mulch, make sure you put, I'd say anywhere from 12 to 15 inches of mulch around these things. Keep them mulched. If you're in a hot environment, you're gonna wanna water these things. Now, during the summer, we have enough rain to keep these things going, and they've been established long enough, and I've mulched them many a year, so it's pretty well established. But if you're just getting started, you're gonna wanna mulch. Whenever you mow your grass, catch your grass, and pile that grass around the plants, you know. Like maybe I probably come out a good 18 inches past the plant. So you don't wanna like just make a big pile right up on the plant. You kinda wanna flatten it out. And so if you were like looking down on the plant, it would be up to the plant and then up to 18 inches away from the plant. Thick, thick, thick. Other than that, you just have to keep up. I mean, there's really maintenance twice a year, and that's it. So you're gonna maintain it once the berries start growing. You know, you're gonna go out there and pick berries. Then after the berries stop growing, it's just a matter of getting out there, cutting all the old canes out, putting all the new canes back in place where you want them. And then it's just a matter of pruning them things so that they go where you want them to go. I know a lot of people mow around their blackberries and they're kind of complaining because they scratch you all up. If they're scratching you up, cut those limbs off, you know? Just cut them off and let the plant send the energy to the other parts of the plant. You know, make it easy on yourself. And 2, if you're mulching really heavy on either side of it, then you won't really have to get that close, because it'll keep the grass from growing really close to that blackberry plant, so you don't have to get your mower up close and cut your wrist and your hands and your fingers and your legs all up. All right, well that's it. If you have any questions, please post them below the video, or if you have my number, if you're a personal friend of mine, you know, just call me. But I believe I covered all the bases. So let's see, anything else that I'm forgetting? The cattle panel, just like I did at a buddy's house this last week up in Arkansas, we just spaced the however long the cattle panel is, come in about 1 foot from the edges, and that's where you put your T-post. And then if you feel better about it, you can put a T-post in the middle. And then I picked that cattle panel up so that the top of the cattle panel is even with the top of the T-post. And you'll have a little, like maybe about a 12 to 18 inch gap where the cattle panel ends and the ground. And that's good to have because that'll allow you to kind of stick the mulch and all that and kind of work that. So as far as the spacing for the plants, I've had plants grow 6 inches from each other and do just fine. But if you really kind of want to spread it out, make it easier to manage, you could spread those things out every couple foot, put a plant every couple foot. Now, one other thing to consider, and this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll cut this video off. These plants, once established, will grow new plants. And what I mean by that is you'll have one plant, and then all of a sudden you've got 5 to 10 plants growing around it that were not there before. So the roots will go kind of laterally under the ground, and then they'll pop up and make a new plant. If that's the case, if your ground is fertile enough to do those sorts of things, then go to where that new plant is, dig it up, put it back in line, stick it underneath your cattle panel, or start another little berry patch somewhere else. But every plant yields anywhere from 5 to 10 new plants. Every year I dig up 100 plants and pot them and sell them, or give them away, or fill in where my plants have died. So, if you're digging up plants, just go right back in line where all your other plants are at, and then just kind of fill in the gaps. That way you have a good solid berry patch. Other than that, I feel like that's enough information to get you a good solid start, and you'll learn. After a couple seasons, you'll kind of get the rhythm of how the berries act. I'm in deep South Texas. We're already, what is it? It's July 1 or July 2. And let's see, where are we at? We're already at, 94 in the shade. So we have plenty of growing season. Now, up north, where I just got back from in Arkansas, they're kind of just starting their growing season. Or they're early in their growing season. And even further north, it might be different. They may just now be starting seeds, I don't know. So, either way, like I said, give me a holler in the comment section, or find me on Facebook, or you can text me or call me if you have my number, and I'll be happy to answer any kind of questions you have. All right, guys. Again, this is Michael with Doubly Blessed Bee Farm and Homestead, and we'll catch you on the next one.